It is 11:31 on this Wednesday, the 27th of January, 2021. You are listening to the Mario Mukwanda Show. Diabetes is a disease that affects how the body uses glucose, the main type of sugar in the blood. Our bodies break down the foods we eat into glucose and other nutrients that we need, which are then absorbed into the bloodstream from the gastrointestinal tract. Yeah, it's such a mouthful word. The glucose levels in the blood rises after a meal and triggers the pancreas to make the hormone insulin and release it into the bloodstream. In people with diabetes, however, the body either can't make it or can't respond to insulin properly, and that's when a person is considered to have diabetes. So today we're going to talk about diabetes in children with Dietician Faaizer Laher, and we're going to find out how to treat it and how to manage diabetes in children. Assalamu alaikum, Faaizer.
Assalamu alaikum. How are you, Mariam?
All good in yourself?
Very well, thank you.
Alhamdulillah, shukran. All right, Faaizer, what causes type 1 and type 2 diabetes in children?
Okay, so childhood diabetes is a real threat because it's
Yes.
often overlooked until it's very late. And children are at a higher risk of developing, especially type 2 diabetes, because as parents, we often think, oh, their bodies can cope with the amount of sugar, they're active, they burn it off, they ride their bikes, they're busy all the time. So, they find they will burn it off, not like us adults, we put on weight so quickly. But that's the incorrect way to think about childhood diabetes, because if you're fueling your car if your car needs petrol and you're putting in diesel, that's the incorrect fuel for your car. So
Yeah.
it's the same with us as adults and with children. Is we need to feed the kids the correct types of food, so that we can help them to metabolize those foods and then be healthy. Okay, so you asked me about type 1 and type 2 diabetes. So type 1
Yes.
diabetes is a lot of the time hereditary. The body attacks the pancreatic cells, and the body cannot produce insulin anymore. So these kids need to take insulin injections so that they are able to manage their blood sugar levels. Okay. Type 1 diabetic children are most of the time normal or underweight. So it's not really a disease of lifestyle. And type 2 diabetes in children, because the shape of the cells change as we put on weight, therefore the insulin that we produce is not able to be recognized by those cells anymore. So the body will either need medication, or we would need insulin sometimes, and also looking at what sort of foods the child is eating and helping the child to grow into their weight, as opposed to putting them on a very strict diet.
Yeah, and it's so true. Many of us, we think that diabetes only affects adults, but research has shown that that's not the case, especially with type 2. Children are becoming younger and affected with type 2 diabetes. And well, we definitely need to make a huge change in our children's diet and lifestyle. As a parent, what symptoms should you be aware of, and for what type of diabetes?
Okay, so symptoms for both types of diabetes is very similar. So if a parent is concerned, the best thing to do would be to contact your healthcare provider or your GP or your pediatrician. Or if you're going to a clinic, let the nurses know that your child is always thirsty, they're always going to the toilet, they've lost a lot of weight recently, or also put on a lot of weight recently, an unusual amount. They seem very tired, they complain they can't see properly. When they get hurt, it takes a long time to heal. And also they catch frequent infections. So always having chest infections, or tonsils, urinary tract infections also. So all of these type of infections, and these are all warning signs. So your child best, and the best would be to, if you are concerned, if you have even a a small doubt, go to your doctor or go to the clinic, speak to your healthcare provider, and rather catch it early than catching it late.
Mm-hmm. How does diet play a role in the management of diabetes?
So diet is a very, very important cornerstone of treating and managing diabetes, together with physical activity or structured exercise. So
Mm-hmm.
getting the kids out there, riding bikes, running, taking races and things. So enough physical activity throughout the day with correct eating. And it's really important that kids learn to eat correctly by looking at what parents are eating and what's being eaten in the house. And then, instilling good behavior from there.
Mm-hmm. As a child, well, obviously it must be very difficult to resist certain foods, especially when you see your friends are enjoying it. So, what tips can, or rather, what alternatives are available, and how do parents administer those alternatives?
Okay, so educating your child is the first important fact. So sitting them down and telling them, look, let's talk about vitamins and minerals. These little
Mhm.
soldiers that we need for our body that help us to grow. So if we look at things like sugary foods, sweets and chocolates, they don't have a lot of vitamins and minerals, and these are our sometimes foods. So we want to have them every now and then on the weekends. Cake, when it's a special occasion, like perhaps a birthday or Eid or, Islamic New Year or something like that. And we want to tell them that healthy foods help us to build our bodies strong. They help us to have strong muscles, help us to learn at school. And, it's really important that we help our bodies to function properly. And the other view we can also have is Allah has given us our bodies as a gift. And you know how you really love your rollerblades or you love your PlayStation, you have to look after your body the same way you look after your toys, by feeding it correctly so that Allah can be happy with us. That always works.
Yeah, definitely.
And then I
And
said, leading by example. So if mom and
mm,
dad are eating, enough vegetables, there's always whole wheat bread in the house, we're not eating out too often, then children learn to follow in the same footsteps. And
yes.
doesn't have to be strict, and you don't have to talk about being on a diet in the house. Don't talk about weight loss or being fat or being overweight or being skinny. Just talk about being healthy. That's really,
Mhm.
really important.
Yeah, speaking about vegetables, many of the times we do include vegetables in our diet, but we don't cook them properly, so we're not getting the benefits from the vegetables. We're not getting the necessary minerals, nutrients, fibers, etc. So, how can we cook the vegetables properly in order for us to take full advantage of them and get all the minerals and vitamins from them?
Okay, so vegetables are very easy to cook and they cook very quickly. So you can do either stir fry, you can do steamed vegetables, you can do a salad. All the vegetables that you would usually cook, like mushrooms and green beans and say baby marrows, and you can even steam some carrots. Those you can even steam them quickly in the microwave for 2 minutes, and then throw them over salad greens. So it's easy, it's versatile. There's no one way to cook a vegetable, and there's no wrong way to cook a vegetable. Wherever you can include it. If you love curries, then throw your vegetables into a curry. Include them at lunch and at supper, at breakfast. With a scrambled egg, include some grilled mushrooms or grilled tomato, the same way you would eat when you maybe would go to Wimpy, or if you would eat
Hmm.
out. Bring those ideas home and experiment at home. And often you'll find if you've got 3 kids, there's always that one kid who loves to chop and loves to slice. So like, here we go. You do the mushrooms, you do the spinach, and I will crack the eggs. Or you can ask the little ones love to whisk, the kids under 5. So here, whisk
Mhm.
this eggs for mommy. Come, we're going to make some scrambled eggs for breakfast. So
Mhm.
including, a low GI carb, like a whole wheat bread, or even a little bit of brown rice with maybe, a scrambled egg, a little bit of vegetables on the side. So you want them to eat from each food group, and they must be
Mhm.
full and they must feel satisfied. And that energy that you get with mixing the 3 food groups will last a lot longer than, for example, as opposed to having something like cornflakes and milk or Rice Krispies and milk. So those are refined foods, and they're broken down very quickly in the blood. So it gives us a very, gives us peaks in our blood sugar, and it gives us quick drops in our blood sugar, which is what we don't want. And also now kids are going back to school, so we want them to last from about, say, 7 o'clock if breakfast was around 7 until 10 when it's break time. And cornflakes and white bread toast is not going to give them that sustained energy to make it through the full morning in the classroom. And if kids are not eating correctly, also the other thing they get labeled as is being disruptive, as being ADHD or ADD, but it's just because they're hungry and they eaten for such a long time ago, and now it's still a long time until lunch. And these little bodies are wiggly and they move a lot, and they burn up a lot of energy. So we have to feed them correctly if we want them to learn correctly and grow correctly.
And one more thing, snacks and snacking, because kids love to snack and munch here and there. I'm sure many of the parents have had it are up to here when it comes to their kids wanting to eat every second.
Yeah, oh, that's true. Everybody I've spoken to has said my kids they burn through the grocery bill because those groceries just don't last. So snacks can be easy. They can be fruit. So fresh fruit is the best thing to reach for. So you can replace something like the biscuit tin or the biscuit canister with a bowl of fruit. Bananas, apples, pears, easy things. In winter, nachos or small oranges. So it's easy to reach for. And then mix them with a protein or a fat. So you can either mix dip apples into like no sugar peanut butter, or you can dip cucumbers into plain yogurt, really nice. You can also do berries into like a nut butter if they want, okay? Or even a small Provitas. Provitas are great, or whole wheat cracker with something spread on there. So cottage cheese, with cucumbers and tomatoes, or peanut butter on a cracker or something. So it can be something quick and something simple. And often, if you want to make it easier, just have those items available to reach for, and then let them help themselves. So you just want to replace one for the other. And in this way, children who are overweight, they will grow into their weight healthily and very easily. And then, avoiding all those high sugar, high fat foods during the weekdays.
All right. So, Faaizer, shukran so much for your time. If you'd like to share your contact details and social media handles, you may do so.
Thank you so much, Miriam. Great to chat to you again.
Likewise. All right. Have a wonderful day. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
That was Dietitian Faaizer Laher taking us through diabetes in children, what causes it, and how you can manage it as a parent. And as Faaizer mentioned, diabetes type 2 can happen in younger children as well. You've probably been thinking that it can't, but it can, and research has shown that it does affect children. Type 1, however, it is genetic, it's hereditary, can be passed down from parent to child, grandparent to grandchild, etc. So also you can, it's also manageable. It's not treated, it's a disease, it's a chronic lifelong illness. So it's manageable, but it doesn't go away. And it is manageable with a healthy diet, a healthy lifestyle rather, having whole foods, having foods with lots of vitamins and minerals and nutrients, foods that will make you feel full for longer and not the refined and processed stuff that we love. I have a cousin who has type 1 diabetes, and when she started it, I think she was 4. She was 4 years old when she had type 1 diabetes, and it was a really stressful time for the family, as it was not something common or something understood. So going through the treatment process and stuff was also kind of challenging, going through what works and what doesn't work, having to eat this and not having to eat that. you can pretty much imagine what it's like. It's like having a child, or being a person who is allergic to a lot of things, and yet you don't even know that they are allergic to that until they get an allergic reaction to the said food. So it's similar with diabetes, especially type 1. So you can send your comments, questions, queries, or suggestions to our WhatsApp line on 061 or leave them in the comment section below. Don't forget to share these videos with your family and friends so that they can also get the benefit from the information shared by our guests. Do stay with us. We will be right back.